Welcome to a special postseason edition of Friday Night End Zone. He is Preston Willett. I am Damon Dillman. And Preston, when you think back to the summer, think back to 16 camps, this was the night. This was the goal the teams were talking about. So how did you start your national championship Monday? Well, here in Minneapolis, some UVA alumni decided to get out of bed early and go for a nice run with the university's new president. There is a countdown clock outside the UVA locker room here at Scott Stadium that says Beat Tech. It's under the 6-day mark at this point. Fans in the stands were chanting Beat the Hokies. Lars Tiffany remembers the last time the NCAA ended its men's lacrosse season here at Lincoln Financial Field. His Brown team was in the Final Four. Tiffany told the story this morning about getting his phone out, getting video of the team bus as it got a police escort here to the stadium. We welcome you into a beautiful Saturday morning here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. My name is Damon Dillman, and this is the road to Minneapolis. Getting ready for the biggest game in UVA history with the greatest player in UVA basketball history, Ralph Sampson, joining us. With that win, the Cavaliers hitting the 7-win mark, guaranteeing themselves a second straight winning season and moving them one ACC win away from a Coastal Division title. You've been on the road for a long time. Last time you were here, U-Haul was still standing behind us. How much are you looking forward now to just getting back to work and turning your attention back now to your team? UVA came into Duke tonight 117-6. All-time under Tony Bennett when scoring 70 points. This year's team was giving up just 51 points per game coming into this one. Duke scored 46 points in the paint alone. That's more than 5 UVA opponents have scored in a game. Clemson's 62 points tonight are the most allowed by Virginia in 20 years. The Tigers put up 619 yards of total offense. That's the most for UVA opponents since Bronco Mendenhall's first season. So now we know it's going to be UVA and Texas Tech on Monday night here in Minneapolis for the 2019 National Championship. Texas Tech finished the game against Michigan State on a 9-0 run to win it 61-51. So you got Virginia, Texas Tech, two of the top defensive teams in the country, two schools in search of their first ever national championship in men's basketball. One of them is going to leave here on Monday night with that trophy. For now, live in Minneapolis, Damon Dillman, CBS 19 Sports. There was no furious fourth quarter comeback here at Lincoln Financial Field this afternoon. No dramatic overtime game winner either. The Wahoos didn't need either of those today. UVA trailed for just a minute and 39 seconds all day early in the first quarter. Cavaliers held Yale, the number 2 scoring team in the country, to a season-low 9 goals. And for the 6th time in program history, Virginia is the NCAA champion.
You know, winning national championships, something I've never done, you know, and I'm really, really happy for this team. And these are men I inherited from Dom Starsia. So, you know, this is a big thanks to Dom Starsia and Mark Van Aersdale. We inherited really talented men and good men, and they're doing the right thing.
Everybody says we literally started from the bottom, and bottom of the ACC, bottom of the NCAA. These seniors, these juniors, they've seen failure, and this team now to have success is unbelievable.
Just unbelievable what we did this year. I mean, what we built this year, and even the last couple of years. It's a long, winding route to get here, and everyone just stayed the course the whole entire ride, and it's just unbelievable.
It all just comes down to hard work and buying in. You know, we made a promise to ourselves that we wanted. You know, we had high goals and high aspirations, but we know that we didn't deserve it. We had to earn it, and we did that every single week, every single game.
We probably sacrificed the most off the field, and it's just awesome. It all paid off. I can't even believe this right now. I'll probably just hit it in about an hour. We go back to Charlottesville.
Feels like I'm in a dream. I can't put into words how happy I'm feeling right now. It's just a great team win, great team, living in history together.
Matt Moore, a Philly guy, scored a team-high 4 goals for the Wahoos in this one. He finishes the year with a school record 89 points. And Alex Rode, 13 saves in the cage for the Cavaliers, stopped a season-high 62% of the shots he faced from Yale this afternoon. Now with these 6 NCAA titles, the Wahoos are tied for 3rd most in the country with Princeton in NCAA lacrosse history. With the Wahoos in Philadelphia, Damon Dillman, CBS 19 Sports. 12-year-old Maggie Heafy says nothing brings her more joy than playing baseball.
I always say on an off day, if I don't have anything to do, the first thing I do is I go outside and hit off the tee. A lot of people always ask me, if I do it just for a political statement or something, but I just simply play it because I love it. I mean, it's the game that I love.
She always had the passion for the game since the Little League. She's always loved the game, and she's always kept up with these guys, no matter what's been thrown at her.
Maggie has been playing organized baseball since she was 7. For most of those last 5 years, she's been the only girl on the field.
It can be tough sometimes, obviously. I mean, it's not always easy being, kind of alone on the field, but at the same time, my coaches and teammates have always made me feel like I'm just one of them.
She's always been super confident. I really appreciate that about her. There's nothing that she feels she can't do, and she always comes through.
I've gotten some criticism, and at first when that struck me, it hurt a little bit, obviously, but after that I realized, I'm just here to compete. I'm on the same field that they are. I'm playing the same game that they are, so I just always show them on the field.
This spring, Maggie's playing with the H3 Sabres in Charlottesville. It's an opportunity that has tested her as a baseball player.
As you mature, you're certainly getting stronger. Knowledge of the game, of course. We're throwing a lot more at her out here, and she eats it up. She's super smart. Situationally, she's sound, and she's getting a lot stronger at the plate.
When Maggie envisions her future plans, she says they always involve the game she loves, whether it's as a player or a coach or, as one of her coaches suggested, the general manager of a major league team. Wherever baseball leads her, Maggie says she will always use the same approach that she takes on the field.
I mean, H3 always tells me that you want to come out here with a plan, and that's what I always do. I always try to do 110%, put it all out on the field.
UVA began the week 113th in the country defensively in takeaways, and the offense hadn't scored a touchdown in a game and a half. So, working on taking the ball away on defense and red zone touchdowns offensively were points of emphasis this week in UVA practice, and it showed here today against Duke. The Cavaliers matched their season total with 5 takeaways on defense, while the offense scored 5 red zone touchdowns, and that's how a UVA team that was favored by a field goal wound up winning by 34.
Maybe twice in my career, I've told my wife I think we're going to win this week, or where I like how it looks. Most of the time I don't know, and I didn't know today. I thought we'd have a great chance to win. I thought it'd be a hard-fought game. I thought it would come down to the last possession, and holy cow.
Preparing this game, we knew Duke was a good team, and we had to come back and get an ACC win. And I think we all played hard tonight on all facets of the ball, and we just played well together as a team, I think, tonight.
We had multiple huge plays on defense. The offense moved the ball. We had the return. It was, Delaney kicking the ball out of the end zone every time. And it really matters when we can play complimentary football like that, and the score showed.
We hate losing, and we're going to do anything that we can to stop and just erase that. And back-to-back losses is the greatest motivator of a team. So we came out, with a passion, a purpose, and we got to continue this. We got to play with that fierce mindset, game by game by game.
Today's 34-point win is the biggest for UVA against an ACC opponent since closing the Orange Bowl by beating Miami 48-0 in 2007. The Wahoos have also beaten Duke now 5 consecutive times. Bronco is 4-0 against the Blue Devils since coming to UVA. At Scott Stadium, Damon Dillman, CBS 19 Sports. Like so many UVA fans, Matt Palumbo says he was stressed out and praying through the first 2 weekends of this NCAA tournament. But now, Palumbo is back at work. He is here with the Wahoos in Minneapolis at the Final Four. The second-year UVA manager and graduate of St. Anne's Belfield rejoining the team. He says when Tony Bennett wanted an extra hand in practice this week to prepare for this Final Four, Palumbo got the call, and this is an assignment that, well, Palumbo is more than okay with.
People have asked me that, and frankly, I don't really have words for it, because you watch Final Fours from the time you're a little one and watching UVA, and then all of a sudden, everything's culminating, coming together, and it's kind of an emotional overload a little bit, just because I've been a fan my whole life, and now I'm actually a part of it. And here it's special. I can't really describe it.
It was the first thing Lars Tiffany said as he took the podium after winning an NCAA title on Monday.
First of all, I'm very grateful to Dom Starsia. I would follow him. I would listen to him. He's been my mentor throughout this. And so to follow him in his position in the seat as a head coach at the University of Virginia men's lacrosse was daunting because of how incredible I think of Dom as a man, as a coach.
I was struck by that, and I was touched by it at the same time. I mean, it was very gracious of him, very thoughtful of him to
to make those comments.
It was 3 years ago last week that Starsia was fired at UVA after 24 seasons and 4 NCAA titles at the school.
I'll be honest, I couldn't watch on Monday. I found myself a little nauseous, but we were following it closely throughout. For any conflicted feelings I might have about, the end of my career at UVA, it has nothing to do with so many of the personalities involved here.
That includes Virginia's players. Most of them were recruited by Starsia. UVA seniors played for him.
That was almost special beyond words. To know what Ryan Conrad's been through, to watch him get hurt, not be able to be there for him. Doc Sakin and John Fox and Alex Rode and Cade Soustad and Michael Krause, Matt Moore, all those relationships developed over the period of time of recruiting them and watching them come here and stuff. This is something that you achieve that you'll have with you the rest of your life. And they're now members of a very special club. I'm really happy that they get to share in that.
Tiffany has been quick to credit Starsia basically since arriving at UVA. The two have stayed in close contact, including throughout the Wahoo's title run. Starsia describes Tiffany as the link between his historic time at Virginia and the program now.
It's been a very interesting couple of years. I don't know that Laura's being here made it easier or harder in some ways, but at the end of the day, I want my family to feel good. I want the program to feel good. I would like to enjoy, be able to be a part of all of this. And I don't think there's any question that Lars is going to be someone who's going to tie all that together for us.
This is the 4th time in 6 years that UVA has been a 1 seed. This has become a common scenario for this UVA basketball program. And prior to last March, that was a good thing, of course. Then UMBC happened, the first number 16 seed to ever upset a 1 seed in the first round of the NCAA tournament. That loss has loomed over this UVA program throughout the season. So while the Cavaliers say they tried their best to take it one game at a time throughout this season, they also admit that their minds have occasionally thought ahead to this week throughout the season.
I would be lying if I told you I wasn't looking forward to this all year, because in the back of my mind it was about getting back to this position and avenging last year.
Thursday's open practice also meant an open UVA locker room, and that meant another heavy dose of questions about that UMBC loss last year.
We knew that all year, that was going to be a question of the year, whether we were going to be ready for the tournament. I knew people were going to disregard what we did during the regular season and basically just focus on this.
I don't think anyone's ever going to forget about it, including me. So just trying to put as far behind and never forget, but definitely move past.
Moving past that loss once and for all can start with a win on Friday against another 16 seed, Gardner-Webb. The Wahoos believe the way last year ended has fueled them all season long, and that will not change now in the postseason.
I think we're more prepared than we were last year in terms of mentally. I don't think we overlooked the 16 seed last year, but at the same time, it's hard not to. That's human nature.
We're in charge of our story right now, of what can happen. We're in complete control, and I know the coaches are fired up, probably a little bit more fired up than we are, to be honest, but we're just level-headed guys, and we're focused and ready to play. Coach Bennett said it last night. Last year's loss, it already took us to a place where we haven't been. We're a new and improved team, and last year's loss already took us to that place. We've used last year's loss in the right way already, and now it's just about us and time to put our energy into getting this done this year.
We begin with our postseason Friday night end zone game of the week at the Jungle. Yeah, Louisa, the top seed in Region 4B, hosting King George tonight. JD Offensive Player of the Year, Jared Hunter, trying to keep his footballs warm in that cold weather night. First possession for Louisa. They are stuffed on 4th and short, so it's King George taking over in Louisa County territory, and they would capitalize. Charles Mutter keeping it and flipping his way into the end zone from 4 yards out. It was 6-0 Foxes with the lead after 1 in the second quarter, 7-6 Louisa. Hunter getting started. The 25-yard touchdown on the keeper, his second of the night, made it 14-6 Louisa, and then just 2 minutes later, from the 8, rolls out and decides to keep it. How about his third touchdown run of the quarter? Made it 21-6 Louisa. How about the Foxes going for it on 4th down? Adrian Williams just blows that one up.
Wall.
He was in the backfield all night long for the Louisa defense. That would lead to from the 2. Time winding down in the half. The jump ball to Noah Robinson. He makes the catch It was 28-7 Louisa at the half. To the second half, more from that Louisa defense. The screen pass is tipped right to Austin Sims, the JD defensive player of the year. Tripped up, almost a pick six, but that led to an Alex Washington score. And then the Foxes trying to punt it away, but special teams getting it done as well. The block punt for Louisa. Aaron Aponte comes out of that scrum with the touchdown. Made it 42-6 in the third quarter.